Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a hyper-focused, absolutely crucial micro lesson. We are going to strictly unpack the mechanics of BGP path selection. Now, if you manage or support networks, you already know that BGP is the routing protocol of the internet. But how it actually makes its routing decisions, well, that's a fascinating, multi-layered process, and we're going to break it all down right now. To do this, we're drawing our material exclusively from a really fantastic source. It's the Guide to Modern Network Routing Protocols tutorial. This incredibly comprehensive guide comes to us from Virtualization Options LLC, which is a Colorado-based technology research, education, and advisory organization. For this explainer, we're putting our blinders on and looking strictly at the core concepts presented in Part 16 of their 20-part guide. Okay, let's dive into this, because it's kind of the ultimate networking question, isn't it? The internet is this massive, tangled web of overlapping connections. So when your router is staring at multiple different routes to get to the exact same destination, how does BGP decide which one is the absolute best path to take? Well, it relies on a very specific, strict funnel of elimination to make its choice. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't it just pick the shortest path? If you're used to simpler interior routing protocols, you'd probably assume it just counts the hops and picks the shortest one. But actually, scratch that. As our source material explicitly points out, BGP does not simply pick the shortest path. It's not fundamentally designed for raw speed in the way those simpler distance-based protocols are. Instead, BGP uses this highly complex, policy-driven sequence to figure out exactly where your data should go. And this brilliantly illustrates how it actually thinks. It applies a sequential decision process across multiple attributes until a single winner is found. It's literally like a strict checklist. Step 1. BGP checks the very first attribute on its list for all the competing routes. Step 2. It asks, hey, is there a clear winner based on this one attribute alone? And step 3. If yes, it stops. If no, it moves right along to the next attribute on the list. And that brings us to the stop condition, which honestly introduces a bit of dramatic tension into how these routers operate. The process runs in strict order, and the very first attribute that produces a clear winner stops the entire process immediately. It absolutely doesn't matter what the second, third, or 10th attributes say. The exact millisecond a single winning path is found at any stage, the checklist gets thrown out, the evaluation halts, and that route is locked in. You know, the gravity of this sequential stop condition mechanism really can't be overstated. In fact, the folks at Virtualization Options LLC put it perfectly in Chapter 16 with this direct quote. Understanding this is the key to BGP traffic engineering. If you don't grasp the strict top-down sequential elimination, you basically can't effectively control how data enters and exits your network. So what do we mean when we say traffic engineering? Let's unpack that term really quickly. It's essentially the strategic game of using these sequential routing attributes to force network traffic down highly specific, preferred paths. Network admins use these rules as their primary toolkit. By knowing exactly which attribute BGP looks at first, second, and third, admins can manipulate those exact metrics to perfectly mold and dictate the flow of data across global boundaries. Let's move to and see how this all builds with attribute 1, which is wait. Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast we're looking at here. You've got your standard BGP attributes, right? These are standardized rules advertised to routing peers all across the internet. But wait is a completely different animal. As the source notes, wait is not a standard BGP attribute at all. It's highly proprietary and strictly what is known as Cisco local. So what exactly does Cisco local only mean in the real world? It means this attribute is set on a single specific router, and it is never ever advertised to neighboring peers. It unilaterally affects just that one specific router's decisions. The router basically keeps this metric entirely to itself, using it as an internal cheat sheet to override any other external routing logic, without telling the rest of the network why it's making that choice. When you fire up a router, by default, this wait attribute starts at a baseline of 0 across the board. So every single route learned dynamically from a peer comes in with a baseline wait of 0, meaning an administrator has a completely clean slate to start engineering their traffic. And man, they have quite the canvas to paint on. The wait attribute can be adjusted all the way up to a maximum limit of 65,535. This just goes to show the vast numerical scale network admins have to play with when tuning these routes. You can assign incredibly granular priority levels to different paths arriving at your router. So, the crucial point to take away here is this simple, absolute rule. Highest wait wins. because this is the absolute first attribute BGP checks. If Route A has a weight of 100 and Route B has a weight of 50, Route A wins instantly. Boom! The stop condition is met. The process halts. The router doesn't care about anything else. The absolute supremacy of the highest number in this very first step dictates the path.
So, to summarize the intense power dynamic of this single attribute, the highest value always wins. Remember, it's strictly Cisco local, kept entirely secret from peers, and it exists to force a single exit point for your outbound traffic, completely bypassing and overriding the standard BGP rulebook.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating dynamic to consider. Think about it. If a single router can dictate a forced exit point using just one local, completely unshared metric like weight, who really controls the flow of your global traffic? Is it the internet at large, or the local administrator pulling the strings behind the scenes? And perhaps more importantly, what on earth happens to this sequential decision process if the weight values are exactly the same and result in a tie? Well, we're going to have to explore the next attribute in the sequence to find that out. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.